Imagine a woman 9 feet tall, with a voice that thundered like a temple bell, riding a massive three-tusked war elephant into the heart of a blood-soaked battlefield. Clad in shimmering golden armor and flowing yellow robes, she didn't just fight for territory, she fought to break the chains of an empire. This was Triệu Thị Trinh, better known to history as Lady Trio, the warrior queen who terrified the powerful Wu Dynasty of China and became an eternal symbol of Vietnamese resistance.
To understand Lady Trio, we have to travel back to the year 226 AD in the Cu Chen district of what is now the Thanh Hoa province in northern Vietnam. At this time, the land was known as Jiao Qi, and it was under the iron-fisted rule of the Eastern Wu, one of the 3 major powers during China's legendary Three Kingdoms period. For the local people, this was an era of profound suffering. The Wu treated the region as a resource to be plundered, demanding heavy tributes of gold, pearls, and ivory, while forcing the local population into labor and stripping away their cultural identity.
Triệu Thị Trinh was born into this world of oppression. Often at a young age, she was raised by her older brother, Triệu Quốc Đạt, a powerful local chieftain. As she grew, she didn't fit the mold of what a young woman was expected to be in a society increasingly influenced by foreign Confucian ideals. While other women were being taught the virtues of domesticity and submission, Triệu was in the mountains mastering the arts of war. She was exceptionally strong, fiercely intelligent, and possessed a charisma that commanded immediate respect.
The turning point in her life came when she reached her late teens. Her brother, realizing her potential but fearing for her safety, urged her to consider marriage and a quiet life. Her response is one of the most famous quotes in Vietnamese history, a declaration that still echoes through the centuries. She told him, "I only want to ride the strong winds, tread the dangerous waves, slay the big whales of the eastern sea, clean up the frontiers, and save the people from drowning. Why should I imitate others, bow my head, stoop over, and be a slave? Why yield to humble housework?"
With those words, her fate was sealed. She was not going to be a footnote in someone else's story. She was going to be the storm. Around the year 248 AD, the local tensions finally boiled over into an all-out rebellion. Triệu Thị Trinh, barely 21 years old, fled to the mountains where she began recruiting an army. She didn't just gather a few disgruntled farmers, she built a disciplined force of over 1,000 men and women who were willing to die for her cause. They established a base in the rugged peaks, training in guerrilla tactics and preparing for the inevitable clash with the Wu imperial forces.
When her brother saw the strength of her resolve and the size of the army she had amassed, he dropped his reservations and joined her. However, the soldiers didn't look to him for leadership. They looked to the woman in the golden robes. Triệu Thị Trinh was elected as the supreme commander. She was given the title Nui Kiel Tung Gun, which translates to the lady general clad in golden robes.
Her appearance on the battlefield was designed to strike terror into her enemies and inspire awe in her followers. Legend says she was a giant of a woman, though this may be a metaphorical reflection of her larger-than-life presence. She wore her hair in a high bun, donned a golden tunic, and strapped on armor that caught the sunlight. Most importantly, she rode a white elephant with 3 tusks. In the ancient world, elephants were the equivalent of tanks, and a white elephant was a sacred, powerful omen. The rebellion moved like wildfire. Lady Trio led her forces down from the mountains and began reclaiming territory. They struck Wu garrisons with speed and ferocity, liberating villages and defeating professional Chinese regiments. In just 6 months, her army fought over 30 major battles. The Chinese administrators, who had initially dismissed the uprising as a minor local disturbance led by a mere woman, were suddenly panicking. The Wu soldiers were terrified of her. They began to whisper that she was a supernatural being, a mountain spirit that couldn't be killed by mortal blades. Here to top her elephant, the Wu lines would often buckle before the first arrow was even fired.
However, the Eastern Wu Empire was a massive, sophisticated machine with nearly endless resources. The emperor, Sun Quan, realized that his local governors were losing control. he sent a veteran commander named Liu Yan to suppress the rebellion. Liu Yan was a seasoned strategist who understood that he couldn't defeat Lady Trio through brute force alone. He brought with him a massive reinforcement of professional soldiers, but he also brought a more subtle weapon, diplomacy and corruption.
Liu Yan began by offering bribes to local chieftains to abandon the rebellion. He used psychological warfare, spreading rumors and trying to sow discord among Trio's ranks. More importantly, he used the sheer weight of numbers to wear her army down. The rebels were brave, but they were fighting a war of attrition against an empire that could replace every fallen soldier with 10 more.
The battles grew increasingly desperate. Lady Trio's forces were pushed back toward the mountains where they had started. Despite the mounting odds, she refused to surrender. She continued to lead charges from the back of her elephant, her golden armor now dented and stained with the blood of her enemies. She fought with the ferocity of someone who knew the end was coming, but refused to give her captors the satisfaction of a victory.
In late 248 AD, after months of grueling combat, the rebellion was finally crushed at a location known as Mount Tung. There are various accounts of how Lady Trio met her end. Some say she fell in battle, fighting until her last breath. But the most widely accepted and enduring legend is that rather than being captured and paraded as a trophy by the Wu, she chose to end her own life. She is said to have cast herself into a river, maintaining her dignity and her vow never to be a slave. She was only 23 years old.
The Wu thought that by killing the woman, they would kill the rebellion. In the short term, they were right. The organized resistance crumbled, and the region remained under Chinese control for several more centuries. But in the long term, they couldn't have been more wrong. By choosing death over submission, Triệu Thị Trinh became an immortal martyr. Her legacy began to grow almost immediately after her death. The local people who had been inspired by her courage built temples in her honor. They told stories of her bravery to their children, ensuring that her name would never be forgotten. Even the Chinese, who tried so hard to erase her, couldn't help but record her deeds in their own chronicles, albeit through the lens of a fearful enemy.
In modern Vietnam, Lady Trio is a national hero of the highest order. She stands alongside the Trung sisters as the foundational figures of Vietnamese independence. There is a magnificent temple dedicated to her in the Hao Loc district, where an annual festival is held to celebrate her life. Her famous quote about riding the waves and slaying the whales is taught to every schoolchild, serving as a reminder that the spirit of freedom is more powerful than any occupying army.
But Lady Trio's story isn't just a piece of national history. It's a history mystery because of the blurred lines between the woman and the myth. Did she really stand 9 feet tall? Probably not. Was she truly a giant? In the eyes of those she led, absolutely. The legends of her physical stature are likely a way for history to communicate the sheer magnitude of her impact. Her three-tusked elephant and golden robes might seem like the stuff of fantasy, but they represent a very real tactical brilliance, the use of iconography and psychological warfare to level the playing field against a superior force.
She represents the eternal struggle of the underdog. She was a young woman from a marginalized province who took on the most powerful empire in her known world and made it tremble. She proved that leadership isn't about age or gender. It's about the strength of one's conviction and the refusal to accept an unjust reality.
Lady Trio's life was short, violent, and spectacular. She lived during a time when the world was being rewritten by powerful men, yet she carved her own name into the stone of history with a blade. She remains a symbol of the unyielding spirit of a people who have spent millennia fighting for their right to exist on their own terms. Even today, if you visit the mountains of Thanh you can almost hear the phantom echo of a temple bell voice and the heavy tread of a war elephant, reminding the world that some spirits can never be tamed.
If you want to discover more incredible stories of warriors and legends that history tried to forget, subscribe now.